What's going on, guys? It's your boy, the ITP Paladin here. So I've been meaning to make this video for like the past week. Multiple things. What the heck? Is the pop filter not working? Is the sensitivity on this thing gone? I may have accidentally busted my mic. I'm trying to keep it in like the green levels, but it might be going to yellow occasionally. I'll try and keep it down though. I might actually need to lower the sensitivity a bit. Oh my god. It's like hitting the red. Anyway, so back on subject. So I've been meaning to make a video on this in the past week, and it was a little late thanks to some personal life problems. Well, not really problems, just a lot of activity going on, me having to take care of my daughter, my family coming over, not really having a place where I can dedicate myself to making videos and privacy. It's not that I'm ashamed of what I do in front of my parents, it's just that they don't like the technological stuff of everything, and I want to be polite. So, with all that said, one more thing I need to cover before I continue is that in my previous video, I think I owe a little bit of explanation and a potential apology. So in my video, I said I hated the Chinese teams and OWL. Within context, you could watch the video yourself. I got some comments and it made me think about like how I explained it, because the comment below, I don't know if it was actually a really patriotic dude or a troll in my comment section for the previous video. Link will be down below just so that everybody has that. But essentially, I was going off on how the Chinese teams boycotted SBB, and that it was wrongful for them to do that, and that I just hated the Chinese teams in general. Duly note, that does not mean that... It's basically like how a Green Bay Packers fan hates the Minnesota Vikings. It's more along the lines of a team-oriented thing, because I myself am a New York fan. So keep in mind, it's more along the lines of a sportsman kind of hate, not really anything more than that. Anything more than that, you're digging a little too deep. So just to throw that out there, like, I fully respect all the players and everything and what they do. I hate some of the teams. It's a sports thing. So moving on to the actual subject of the video. So my week kind of had like a huge dip in like rise in a couple of things. Like some good news, like there's actually some good news on the front of video gaming, where Battlefield Friends, if anybody's familiar with them, they were like a little animated series that parodied off Battlefield the game, so they're coming back with Battlefield 2042, which, by the way, I might pick up myself and play. I just need to wait for it to be announced for a specific date and make sure that I can actually get the game for sure. But all in all, the thing that's kind of like a downer for me was SBB announcing retirement. So, as we know, Overwatch League has come to a point where they're renewing contracts and or releasing players. And all in all, about a good 40 to 50% of players, to my knowledge at this point, I could be wrong on those numbers, but most of them are being released. One of them was SBB. So just to quickly note, he shared a pretty freaking hilarious picture, which I'm going to click on real quick. It's just, I love you. I love myself too. So at least he's keeping the humor up. So, get out of here. Okay, there we go. So he basically put out this tweet, and there's a little bit of a longer read for like twit longer or whatever. No, get out of here. I don't care. I don't care. So he says, read this, guys. He has it typed in Korean, and then it's translated at the end for English, but there's also this, which is the full up here for English. Just to quickly read on that, because I want to quickly put this out there. Hello, this is SBB. I've decided to retire as an Overwatch player. There are so many things that I want to say, but for now, my story as SBB ends here. Thank you for all the fans and writing down the story with me, or writing the story with me, I think is what it got literally translated from. It was a great honor to be a part of NYXL and Seoul Dynasty. Although I didn't play this season, I tried my best to contribute to the team as coach and as a staff member. I'm thinking about writing a different story now. God, I love the use of writing a story. Eureka 7 vibes. I have to go off on a video on that later. I'm not sure what the story will be about, but I will try to share the story with overuse of the word story. Bye-bye. Thank you, Overwatch. Thank you, Tracer. And to that, real quick, before I continue, oh, Captain, my freaking Captain, if he sees this, I will die a little on the inside, in a good way. So, okay, so, basically put, okay, I'll first start off by saying there's only one regret that I have, and that is not watching him sooner in the early seasons when I wasn't interested in Owl. Like I didn't really see any benefit to watching it. And then when I actually started seeing little by little, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. So New York was always my team, not because they were a dominant team, although that did help in some way. They were my home state. Anybody who knows me knows I grew up in New York for 20 plus years. I was practically born there. Lived on Long Island my entire life, and then I moved to Texas due to some, national problems that had been happening within the states and dumb decisions by the governor literally making cost of living impossible. And on top of that, my dad was on the edge of retirement, so he wanted to go someplace where they weren't going to gouge him for his money before he could even spend it. So Texas was a good alternative. Cost of living is pretty cheap. And I thus followed them because it was either go with them or stay homeless. And that's when I picked up on Overwatch League, started watching them, started playing, rising in the ranks, going from like high bronze to low gold. And then as time went on, I started increasing. And whoa. I just felt my throat close up on that one. So all in all, when I got into seeing NYXL and its players, Sabiolby was the one that stood out to me. Now, to quickly talk about, I will say that this guy is my personal hero. He's like 7 years or so younger than me, maybe a little less. But I would say he's pretty much my hero at this point. Like looking into his profile, what he basically put out there for the world to see. He was former military because he has service in Korea. He was a barista. He was almost a pro bowler. He played CSGO. But he essentially shows the qualities that not only I highly respect, but he's also shown it on the field. There was a time where I think it was either the quarterfinals or the semifinals, one of the two. But NYXL was about to get there on the grand final stage and win the championship until they were knocked out. I don't remember which team knocked him out off the top of my head, but one of his team members who introduced him into Overwatch League in the first place, it was Flower. He was having kind of like a little bit of a breakdown. He was very passionate about winning, and they unfortunately came up short, so he was, crying. But he holds his friend's hand, and basically when they did the interview about what the situation was, it was basically that Flower was overly emotional that they didn't win, because it was, again, the grand finals. Like, they were about to win the championship of championships and be known as one of the best teams in the league and finally solidify that they could win a grand championship, but they fell short. It's kind of like how if you go to the Super Bowl and the teams are passionate about winning, so they'll try their hardest or whatever not. Sabiolby's there comforting him, not just in the way like, oh, it's okay, there's always next year. It's more than that. He put off the true sight of what a leader should be, and that was basically, he whispers to Flower, "I'm sorry, it's my fault. I wasn't, I want to say I wasn't strong enough, or I didn't do enough, or something along those lines." That kind of painted a certain respect for Sabiolby and why he's my favorite Overwatch player, and I was really looking forward to seeing him play on Seoul Dynasty until that whole shenanigan happened where I probably have to check in on the baby after this video. I just heard a smack. Either way, so the shenanigans happened. He got boycotted for a time, and honestly, it was a bullshit boycott because I'm pretty sure he was baited. Every time I look into the info, it always seems like someone baited him into saying something that they knew he would get in trouble for, be trying to like force a stance out of him. So that kind of pissed me off, like not being able to see him play the entire season. So as a result, he's in the back line because if he shows face, it might cause more problems than solving them. So the only regret that I really have, again, is not following Overwatch League sooner to watch him play in his prime, because everybody's saying he's washed. It's only been like 4 years. You can't be washed on a game at 4 years. There's a big gap in between the seasons. You can't be washed. You want to talk about washed, there's plenty of players I could probably pick out if I had the time to look into it, but I don't care enough. I just... First off, I wish him luck in whatever he does. I will be watching him stream. The only reason I haven't been watching him very often is because he's up at like 4 in the freaking morning by the time I wake up, and it's been like 4 or 5 hours since he streams or started streaming, and I'm like, either wake up earlier or don't go to bed at all. That'd be cool. But, I wish him luck in whatever he decides to do. Honestly, I think he'd be a benefit in whatever game he decides. Maybe he just might stick to streaming. I don't know. I keep hearing a smack in the baby's room and it's bothering me a lot. So I'm just going to cut this video off here and basically say, first, just all in all, Sabiolby, if you watch this video, again, I will freaking lose it in a good way because Senpai noticed me, but a sincerest thank you for all your time and entertainment throughout NYXL and even for a short time, Soul Dynasty, for whatever it was worth in the back end or front end. It doesn't matter. Thank you. Thank you for basically being a good inspiration for a lot of people, including myself. Thank you for all the service and everything that you've done for fans everywhere and bringing that to the Overwatch League in an entertaining and fashion and everything. And I look forward to following you on the journey of whatever else you decide to do in the public eye, whether you decide to take up streaming or whether or not you decide to join another league for a different video game, whatever it may be. I wish you the best of luck. That's the sincerest thing. I'm going to end it there. I'm going to pick up on streaming again later on tonight and probably play some of the Overwatch Halloween event. So be sure to pick up on that before I go. I don't really have anything else to tack on to this video, other than I want to expand upon my content, just, quickly covering on that. I want to do more than just video games. I actually do enjoy anime. I do enjoy pop culture, movies, and books and all that. I would like to cover those topics more. So if on the comment section you guys would be interested in seeing that content, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to be finding anywhere I can go and just seeing if anybody will buy into the content. Other than that, there's really not much to cover. So I will be on stream later tonight. Once again, catch me there at about 9 o'clock or so. Just depends on the baby. I'll see you guys later tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you later.